And breaking right now, we've learned Trip Halstead, the little boy seriously injured when he was hit by a falling tree limb 5 years ago, has died.
We're live from Children's Healthcare of Atlanta with more on how Trip's brief life touched the hearts of thousands of people around the world.
And also breaking right now, live pictures as a desperate search is on for survivors in the Miami bridge collapse. Rescuers are using dogs, search cameras, and high-tech listening devices looking for any signs of life beneath that rubble.
The deadly bridge collapse in Florida got us thinking, could that happen here? We're digging deeper into the construction of our pedestrian bridges.
What happened in the last moments of Diane MacGyver's life, and more importantly, how did her husband Tex react? We'll take you into court as his murder trial heats up.
Just hours before his scheduled execution, Carlton Gary gives an exclusive interview to 11 Alive. It's an interview the Department of Corrections doesn't want you to hear.
And we begin tonight with some really heartbreaking news. 7-year-old Trip Halstead has died, and so many of us followed his story through the years since that fateful day in October of 2012. The little boy with the sunny smile captured the hearts of millions around the world as he battled to survive from that terrible accident when he was just 2 years old. He was hit by a tree limb outside his daycare in Winder. Natisha Lance is live outside Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, where Trip spent his final hours. And Natisha, what are you hearing from Trip's parents tonight?
Well, Vinny, tonight they are releasing a statement. You mentioned that he captured the hearts of thousands of people around the world, a Facebook page that his mother kept up every day with his progress. Over 1 million people following that Facebook page. And tonight, his mother is saying thank you for all of the support, but also saying, quote, they are devastated. Now, she did post earlier today on Facebook saying that when she went to go wake Trip up for school this morning, he had some labored breathing. So she was bringing him to the pediatrician. But on the way there, his breathing became worse. So she decided to take him to the emergency room in Athens. And at that point when he was there, they decided that he needed to be transported to CHOA behind me. Once he was here, they discovered that there was some cloudiness on his lung. Now, we can't say for sure tonight if that is what caused his death, but I can tell you that just a few weeks ago, his mother had posted about him having some trouble sleeping because of he had been sick earlier this winter, and also he had had some discomfort from the plate that was in his head, and he was expected to have surgery coming up in the next few weeks. Now, already there are condolences that are pouring in from people all over that Facebook page of so many who have followed his progress over the years. Miranda says, now go rest high in that mountain, you're healed. And Jocelyn said she's going to miss seeing those posts every day that his mother had posted. This was a long battle that was fought by Trip as well as his family. But tonight, that little boy who captured the heart of so many people, Vinny, is at peace.
He had such an incredible impact. Thanks so much, Natisha. He's also trending on Twitter tonight, folks, because thousands of you are sharing the sad news about Trip, leaving your condolences also on our 11 Alive Facebook page. Please log on now to read more about his story and share your own message of support for that very special family of his, the Halstead family, tonight. Also breaking in the last half hour, a convicted serial killer put to death inside the state prison in Jackson, but not before Carlton Gary gave his very last recorded statement only to 11 Alive. Chief Investigator Brendan Keefe is live now outside the prison with much more on the convicted stocking strangler's last words. Brendan?
That's right, Vinny. Carlton Gary was executed by lethal injection tonight at 10:33 p.m., but there was one witness who was scheduled to be there who was not there. 11 Alive investigative journalist for 11alive.com, Jessica Knoll. She was booted off the prison grounds here simply because she agreed to accept a phone call interview with the condemned man hours before his execution.
And you know, I'm an innocent person.
Carlton Gary will forever be known as the Columbus Stocking Strangler, but he died proclaiming his innocence.
From the very beginning, this thing has just been one-sided.
The condemned man chose 11alive.com investigator Jessica Knoll to record his final thoughts in a phone call just hours before his scheduled execution. Carlton Gary was arrested back in 1984. He thought it was for a series of armed robberies, not a series of murders.
That's why I'm smiling in the very first photo when people see me coming down the hall with the red sleeveless top on, they thinking I've lost my mind because I'm accused of these cases, but I'm smiling. Well, I'm smiling because I don't know I'm accused of these cases.
Under the authority of Georgia law, we have the right, of course, to close this meeting.
The Georgia Parole Board denied clemency but heard testimony in secret the day before the scheduled execution. Journalist Jessica Knoll was taken off the execution witness list and ordered off prison property once the Department of Corrections learned Gary had called us from death row.
They didn't want the public or media in the parole board hearing. The DA won't let us look at the case files from a 40-year-old case because it's still quote-unquote pending until you're dead. Why is this happening in the dark? Why don't they want the people to see what's going on if there's nothing wrong with the case?
Thank you. Thank you. Answer that question.
Carlton Gary will never hear the answer.
The execution of Carlton Michael Gary was carried out at 10:33 p.m. in accordance of state law. He did not accept a final prayer and did not make a final statement.
Now, you may ask why we talked only with the convicted serial killer and not with the victims' families. It's important to point out there were no victims' families present for tonight's execution. These crimes happened 4 decades ago. There certainly is another side. And remember, he was convicted and his appeals were denied just as recently as tonight when the U.S. Supreme Court denied to give him a stay. That's why it happened so late at 10:33 instead of at 7. We will be asking first thing in the morning D.A. Slater for those records that she has kept closed and her predecessors now for 4 decades. And we'll finally, hopefully, see the evidence. We're live in Jackson.
Did you kill those women?
Absolutely not.
Did you have any knowledge or anything to do with their murders?
Absolutely not.
You can listen to our entire exclusive interview with Carlton Gary and his wife in the final few hours of his life right now on 11alive.com. We've also posted background and historical footage from the Stocking Strangler case. And live pictures tonight, another big breaking story. We're watching a massive bridge collapse in Miami, Florida. Rescuers are using high-tech listening devices, trained sniffing dogs, and special cameras, hoping to find some survivors. Tonight, there are at least 4 people dead, and we're learning a stress test was being conducted when the 950-ton bridge collapsed. This is what it looked like earlier today as the bridge, which was just completed Saturday, fell onto the roadway, crushing the cars below. It happened at Florida International University, and over a major roadway, social media posts quickly made it clear this would be a tragedy. The bridge is known as an ABC bridge, ABC standing for Accelerated Bridge Construction, and we have several of those types of bridges right here in our area. Christy Etheridge joins us now. And Christy, what is an accelerated bridge construction and why are people now worried about this?
That was the question of the day, Vinny. We've got 2 bridges in this area built with ABC. There's one bridge on I-24 in Dade County that was installed in about 72 hours. The new bridge was constructed right next to the old one, and the old one wasn't torn down until the new one was ready to go. And then the reconstruction of the Cortlandt Street Bridge is an accelerated bridge construction project. That one is in downtown Atlanta. To understand what happened in Miami, first you have to understand ABC. It stands for Accelerated Bridge Construction. Here's structural engineer Tim Schmitz.
So it's essentially where you're trying to build as much of the bridge in another location so that you limit the amount of time that you disrupt traffic.
Georgia used that strategy in this bridge up in Dade County at the Tennessee line. You can see the new bridge being built right next to the old one. When it was ready, they just slipped it into place. Schmidt says this is the most similar project to the bridge in Miami, at least in how they built them side by side. We talked to GDOT's Natalie Dale back in May of 2017 when this happened.
Almost like a car jack that gets underneath, lifts your car. This machine gets underneath that bridge structure. There's a lot of benefits here. It's an innovative approach to bridge reconstruction.
It's the same strategy builders are using to reconstruct the century-old Cortlandt Street Bridge that connects those of us on foot to the Capitol and is a key corridor for students at GSU. This Miami bridge used the same strategy. It had just been positioned into place on Saturday. Now people are wondering if the accelerated pace is to blame. Schmitz says it's not.
This isn't an issue with ABC necessarily. This is just tragedy, and that something fell through the cracks somewhere.
Tim says the firm that brought this bridge to Miami is top-notch and says what happened there was a freak accident. Just in the last hour, we've discovered one of the companies involved in the building of the Miami Bridge built one here in Atlanta. According to its website, FIG Engineering has completed 3 major bridges for MARTA, including the first precast concrete bridge built for rail use in the United States.
All right, we have 2 other high-profile pedestrian bridges being built right now, Mercedes-Benz Stadium and the one to the new Braves Stadium. So if ABC is not the problem, what do we need to worry about here?
Well, Vinny, the engineer says no matter what strategy you use, even if it is the accelerated method, you still have to know the basics of building a bridge. And in this case, it comes down to the basic engineering mechanics.
All right, thanks so much, Christy. Accused killer Tex MacGyver reacts in court to the dramatic video of his wife's final hours. Here are my legal dream team's take on the day's shocking revelations.